Hello, brothers and sisters of light and dark. Welcome to my page. My page is my comment sense, but I try to keep it down under the nitty gritty under 10 minutes. If it goes over 10 minutes, it's something very important. And not important to liberals, libertards, people who believe in God, people who like to smoke, people who like to drink, people who use any type of drugs, people who have tattoos, people who wear their hat on backwards, people who like to wear shades at night. It's like 90% of you who should not be watching my videos, alright? I'm eccentric, and I don't need the attention, and I'm not really that ambitious when it comes to money. Okay, I had guys, homos telling me, hey, I'll give up your ass for like a 10,000, okay? Put it in the Cash App, and then they'll be like, I said, no, thank you. No, thank you. Not interested in your money. Just to be fucked up my ass, violated. But what will I do? That's a secret, though. But I would not do any homo activities unless I'm getting paid millions of dollars on the big screen, okay? Or like I could act like a girl or something like that, right? But of course, it wouldn't take away my character. Of course, Eddie Murphy has played as a woman in all sorts of characters, and he still has his manlyhood intact. But of course, there are guys who are comedians who are not that funny to me, like Dave Chappelle, who refuse the role, and they don't put that money right back into society to help anyway. So as I said before, if you're rich, you're not making it in that kingdom heaven. But anyway, I digress here. This video is going to be about a video I saw. If you have any comments, questions, insults, or roast fest, you put that shit down below. This video is going to be about why men are simps and the women are pimps. Okay, I saw this video where these guys was talking about how women only care about the coochie box and why women are basically like just focused on the money. Because the women became masculine back in the days and said, fuck this, because since they know that they want to work because they're so greedy to want more money instead of being content in the house. I call it greed. They're not content. Because in the 1950s and 60s, I was talking to a lot of white racists today, and they knew about the golden era, and they told me it was peaceful back then in those days until a small handful of women, I think it was started by Gloria Steinem, who wanted to break free of being a Christian. They wanted to work less like a man. They wanted to feel equal as a man. They don't want to be taken advantage of. But they wasn't being taken advantage of. They told me women wasn't being taken advantage of. They was in the house cooking and cleaning, taking care of the kids, while the man dealt with the finances. That's what they told me. So now what? All right. So the reason why that is that after the 60s, I think it was after the late 50s into the 60s, and then Gloria Steinem popped up. Okay, Gloria Steinem, she actually worked with the CIA. And there was a project from the CIA called Project Chaos to destroy the nuclear family. And the whole purpose of the CIA is so the government can profit or extort the separation of the nuclear family. All right, follow with me. And so what happens? The women were taught from pimps, because that's when the era when pimps started coming into light. And I think it was the 70s, and then Pimps was teaching women how to take advantage of the system. And so basically the system wanted that. That's the whole goal at that time. Okay? Gloria Steinem learned from actually a house slave, you know, how she felt that the white woman should have been equal because it started from a black woman. That's what it's just rumored, and that's what it is said, because that's what I read. I read that Gloria Steinem learned something about how they can take advantage of the nuclear family and profit off of it. And that black woman saw a white woman as supreme or equal to that man, and that woman can work. And then she got that idea from her, and it spread. So the disease spread that no longer women need to be subservient to their men. They could be just as equal or even better. And this is the same thing that happened in the story of Lilith. Lilith was the first wife of Adam in the Bible, if you want to believe that story or not. And Lilith was created from dirt the same way man was. But Lilith was given special powers that Adam did not have. Look it up, okay? And what happens is that Lilith and Adam didn't get along, so Adam went to God to complain. Okay, I don't know what the reason was. I think it was something sexual. I think it was because she was a hermaphrodite and she had a penis and a female genitalia. And the next thing you know, he was getting fucked both ways. And then he said, hey, you gave her too much. And she ended up disappearing into the other side. But I don't want to go too far back to that story. You could look up the story of Lilith, which existed way before Eve. It's just a story, guys. All right? It's not real. Not real. When you read something, it's not real. When you see something on TV, it's not real. Because you ever heard of CGI? Okay? Computer animated graphics. You see what's going on right now. Okay? So, the moral of the story is that women were taught by their mothers from those eras that women and men are equal creatures. And so they feel they can do better. So they said to the woman, the mother said to the woman, if life gives you lemons, make babies. You ever heard of that term? If life gives you lemon, make babies. I think that's how it was said. And white daddy government will basically take care of you. And that's exactly what the plan was. And they stuck with it. And so other girls would talk about it. Because my coochie box is far more worth than to deal with a man's simplicity. They don't have to deal with you. That's why they get bored. That's why they told me that shit. So when I come across the effeminate male saying, oh, I'm telling you that women cheat more than men, I'm saying it from what they said to me. Anecdotally, right? Women told me they cheat 10 times more, okay? And this is why marriage is important to them, so they can get the bag. Right? I got my wives overseas. I don't have to worry about none of that backlash. I don't have to worry about that shit. But I told you guys, I traveled. I'm like the first guy who actually traveled, and I was a virgin. When I lost my virginity, I was 37 or 38, and she was like 8 years younger than me. I think she was 30, okay, something like that. And if you travel and you follow me, you understand that I was looking for love, but really love is business. Love is a business, guys. It's a trade. Everything comes with conditions. When you hear the word unconditional, that's a lie. There's no such thing as unconditional. That word don't exist. Okay, so you got these women and basically telling these other women, and you notice 2 women to 1 man, right? 2 women to 1 man, right? So even across the whole world, I'm just saying overall, it's 2 women to 1 man. Okay? And they will tell them, hey, if things go south, it's time to go pounce. Okay? And usually, average-looking women have more success than average-looking men, obviously. So the average-looking man gets cut out. He gets rejected because he's not up standard of what she wants. And that's why the average-looking beta female wears the makeup, because they have low self-esteem and they're only focused on one thing. They also become narcissists. They become the pimps, while the men become the simps. And this is why it is very difficult to change men into pimps. I've talked to pimps. I've learned from pimps back in those days. I was 16 and I was taught, and they pulled me to the side. Even some Italians. I saw some Italians, some mafia-style Italians. They gave me, I said, what advice you have for me to try to find a relationship? They said, don't. Your wives is overseas, because they must have did it. Overseas? I thought I would never be able to travel overseas, but I tried it, dropped my hand at it, and I succeeded. Get your passport, guys. But don't fuck up everything for other guys now. You can't be going over there raping girls, taking advantage of girls. I already told you guys, focus on the virginity and the polygyny and the fathers and the families. Because if you focus on the families, you'll know that she got some kind of she got some sort of foundation. Bring back the children only. I already told you this now. Don't bring back those females and try to do what I do. You can't do that. I get paid for my ex-wife. I already told you this. She fucked up. And the system kind of backfired on her. And it had nothing to do with me. The spirit told me to sit back and wait. And then someone told me you should file child support. And then I had to get a divorce because after 3 years, that 3-year mark, she betrays you. It's usually like 2 to 3 years when they get bored. Because there's no sister wives. I agree with her that if I bring you in this country, you promise me your sister. And that will be the end of everything. Everything will be peaceful. And I can bring your family. But she didn't want that. Okay? So there was an agreement, and she was Ethiopian, and I lived in her country, Ethiopia, for 2 years. You better follow my shit. And as I said before, there's a lot of gurus on the internet. Y'all better stop listening to these guys. They don't have the experience or no videos. I got videos to back up my shit. I wish a motherfucker would. Some of my channels got removed, so some of my videos got removed for some unknown reason. That's YouTube. They want to remove it. I've talked to so many women online, even before YouTube and Facebook. It's a goddamn shame. They're starting to remove videos now. It's a lot of shit going on now. Censorship. If they're not getting paid, your shit is getting laid to waste. They're gonna remove it. So you better be making profit for these channels or these companies. I knew this one girl who was on the internet, and they was taking her videos down, and I fell in love with her the first time I saw her. She was like Pakistani, and she was talking about stop eating meats and stuff. I forgot her name. And I was like, damn, she went over to YouTube, tried to kill them motherfuckers, okay? Because they was not giving her the attention that she deserved, because she had a lot of followers. They can control how many people, because YouTube is biased. They want to know, they want to get paid, okay? And they are the ones who have the right to push that button for you to be notified, so you can get paid because you're doing something that's actually working. You do know that, right? I hope you understand how YouTube and all these companies are working, right? They have to get paid. And the reason why Twitch and even Facebook, because they have a certain amount of space, okay, for their servers, certain amount of gigabytes, Google bytes, whatever, that they can't contain, so they have to charge you guys. All right? Because me, I'm like this. I make a video and it'll stay up there for probably 20, 30 years and then get removed because they're not getting paid. So now you understand why women are the pimps, while the guys are the simps. Most average-looking beta male guys are simps. Yes, there's nothing they can do about it. They're far more loyal than the beta alpha males, which is the Pookies and the Ray Rays, you want to call them. That's the terminology I use from back in the days. Now, you guys want to change it up, that's on you. There's no such thing as an alpha, like myself. They don't exist. Okay? Alphas are just like segments. They're the same. And they're basically not really whores. Y'all guys would consider an alpha a whore, a male of a whore. He just goes around sleeping with women. He has great success for women. Or he's highly attractive. That's not an alpha, okay? Not where I'm from. Alpha is knowledge. Women will run from that faster than a whore, okay? See? To be a whore is not alpha. Okay, to be a whore is not alpha. It's the knowledge that is pertained into being alpha. And I'm not talking about the fucking animal kingdom. Okay, you can switch it all kind of ways you want. You may consider me a fucking beta for just talking about facts. I don't care. Alright? So those who have respect for me, they will know what I'm saying is truth. I am 51 years old and I'm still on the basketball court shooting 3-point hook shots, trying to be like Stephen Curry, the best shooter of all time. Stephen Curry. But even he got caught up. When you got a lot of money, take that shit overseas, dog. Don't be settling down with these hoes in this country. Don't do that. And when I say to women, you need a daddy figure to make your choices when it comes to relationships. You can't even choose a mate. That daddy gotta screen that guy, because there are guys that mainly just attracted to your daughters, and then you gotta worry about, because he has beauty, and a beautiful man is the same as a woman. A beautiful man is the same as a woman. They are both narcissistic. You can see it in their face. Okay, they be flaunting their money and flaunting their cash, talking like a woman. You can see it in their face. I don't talk like that. But that's what you know when you talking to a beta alpha male construct. They're only 25%. 80% of the women are gravitating towards the 25% of men's out there. And that's when they realize, when they wake up, that makeup falls off and that pussy falls out. Okay? They have nully pussy, squeezy pussies, loosey-goosey pussies. There's all types of pussies out there. But none of you guys probably ever experienced a virgin pussy, and that's sad. Okay, that is sad. It's me, I stayed. I used a strap-on for used vaginas, and I got paid. I stayed. See, that rhyme, right? You guys can't do what I do. That's very hard to do. You can't do it these days anyway, because they all broke. They all broke. I've encountered women who had millions of dollars. I encountered them, and you know what they told me? They were either too busy, quote-unquote, too busy, I had to cut them off, and they're not a virgin. They will not accept my ways. They can't. I'm not interested in their money. I'm just interested in taking care of the kids now. Because sex only lasts for so long. I give the best affection that they need. They know that. I tell them how beautiful they are, and they don't reciprocate that energy back. I stop. Okay? I got to be protected. And on top of that, they know that. Okay? Everything is time limited. Everything has a time limit on a woman's beauty. And if the wall starts hitting me, I don't mind when she gets older or whatever, as long as she's loyal. Because once I found out that the coochie box was open for somebody else and she don't follow my instructions, I'm out. Okay? And usually 9 times out of 10, if I'm in the court and I got the kids, I don't know what to say about that. Okay? I just get the child support and live on my own. But other than that, that's all I really got to say about why women are the pimps and so many guys are the simps. You just can't do nothing about it. You're just going to have to get knowledgeable and get good, okay, right? Get in shape. You already know if you're a fat fuck, you're not going to be attracted to a thin fuck, right? If a female's thin and you are overweight, she is not attracted to you. Please get that through your head. Love is a trade-off. She's not going to be with your funky ass and you don't work out or anything like that. You got to look as good as me, okay? You got to take care of yourself, man. You can't be like looking like a slob and then thinking a woman is going to be attracted to you. Are you out of your fucking mind? Whenever you know what I saw overseas? I saw Colonel fucking Sanders. I swear to God, man. He looked exactly the same. He had the beard and white hair. He was with an Ethiopian chick. I was like, I would have to say, Colonel Sanders. He started laughing. Colonel Sanders, that's good. I recorded it. I don't know where the fuck that video went. He had a white suit on and white pants and a black tie. He was just walking around with an Ethiopian chick. And this Ethiopian chick had lots of hair. And she had her belly button sticking out. And I told my ex-wife, I said, hey, you know, what's going on? This is Colonel Sanders. He's very popular across the world. And we was at the embassy, across the street from the embassy. I think he was trying to get his little girl a ticket to, or get her a visa or some shit and a passport. And I was like kind of upset because that girl was too hot for him, okay? That girl was just too hot, okay? And I was like, you could go with me. She was all smiling. She was like, hint, you know, because I'm like, hey, you know what I mean by the BBC, okay? Okay, the white man ain't nothing on the BBC. You got a big white cock versus a big black cock. Everybody's going to gravitate to the big black cock. They don't want to take care of it. They just want to fuck it. You can buy one. Did you know that? Women buy those things all of the time. They usually outsell more than the white cocks, okay? I walked up into a fucking porn store downtown Pittsburgh, and I said, where's the black cocks? They usually sell out, okay? Because that's what I used to carry one of those motherfuckers. If you hear anybody talking about a backpack and a strap on, that's me, okay, all right? Because nobody does that type of shit, okay? But it's okay, guys. Y'all have it hard now these days. These modern day women are delulu as hell, okay? Broke and delulu. Statistics show that women are 60 to 70% more likely to have mental illness throughout their lives because they were brainwashed. It's not all their fault. And any woman listening to me, you know I'm telling the truth. As I was there in the hood telling y'all women, keep your goddamn legs closed. You cannot go on. You need your father's permission. Where's the goddamn daddy at? No daddy nowhere. And you ain't supposed to be in a monogamous relationship. They usually fail 80% of the time. You're supposed to be making that money. But the women aren't thinking about that. They were thinking about that way before guys. I saw it. I saw the few handful of pimps in Brooklyn, New York, and I talked to them. I said, oh, why is it like that? Because guys are raised by single mothers. They give up their golden seed just to get that smoky weed used fucking cunt. That used pussy. And then they die because they didn't know no better. They don't listen to pimps. They think pimps are bad people. And most of them are, in a way, if you have to put your hands on them, okay? Or abuse them psychologically to sell their coochie boxes. Their used coochie boxes. They actually adding into the society of Johns and tricks. I said, hey, you know, you contradicting yourself. How are you helping society by selling these busted up women, but they wear condoms? If they wear condoms, it's up to the men to make the decision, okay? They're paying. They don't understand that money that goes to them hoes, 80% of that money goes to the pimp. All right, they don't know that. A lot of guys don't care, okay? They're sneaky, and it's mostly white guys who's doing it. You already know there's more white guys than black guys. So black guys don't really need to be hoeing around with those hoes. They don't pay for sex as much as white guys do. We already know that, okay? But other than that, that's all I really got to say about why women are the pimps. They learn from madams, too, because a madam is a male pimp. It's a female who acts like a male pimp. And that occurred way back in the late 60s into the 70s. Yeah. You know, but other than that, I'm not your average man. I'm not your Peter Pan. And y'all have a nice day now, guys. I told you, you guys are you nice guys. You beta males who are average looking Joe Schmoes. You're the victims, and you're the ones who are getting taken advantage of. Even you nerds or whoever you want to think you are. Because I don't deal with hoes in this country. I just ask them one question. Are you a virgin? They will say no, and she's done. She's finished. I'm not even wasting my time. And if you want to compare women to men, there's always men that got something to do. Women don't have much to do in their life. They don't want to be taught. They don't want to be talked at. They don't want to be talked even in a passive way about how they should be listening to their daddies. And you guys are the daddies. And you guys are the kings. Well, if they want to be a queen, they got to know how to share, like King Solomon. King Solomon the Great, right? But you don't have to take my word for it. You already see all of the videos of women making confessions anyway. Do you see guys confessing anything? There are guys. I tried to look for guys who's grimy guys, those 25% of the guys, but you won't see it that much. You may see a grimy, narcissistic, incubus type male who was born from a single mother, and you may say, I fucked all these hoes. But that's it. That's the worst you'll hear. You may hear some guys being effeminate, and they'll say something like I saw in that video. They'll say something like, oh, guys only care about the coochie boxes. But at least you know how they do care about a woman's body, though. Okay? And they don't, see, most guys sacrifice. They'll get that used coochie box and deal and tolerate with her personality. Men actually are more unhappier in the relationship overall because they deal with psychological issues, which is not talked about. Did you know that? Yeah, there are these average-looking Joe Schmoes will talk to an average-looking female who thinks she's a fucking 10. And he'll keep fucking her until she gets bored. And then he don't know what's going to hit him. He don't know that shit that he fucked up. Now, in my situation, I knew that she would possibly fuck up. And my Holy Spirit was telling me she was wearing a mask. But I was like, she was wearing the mask. Then I win. It doesn't really matter. I got a little hurt, too. I was like, I thought a virgin female would not be disloyal if I brought her back. I really thought so. So I'm the prodigy that tells you right now, don't bring virgin women back into the country. They will betray you. And then I had a woman lie to me about her virginity in the Gambia. Remember that? There are women who lie about their virginity. Yep. And there's a way to tell. When I told her, I said, you are not a virgin. And she didn't even confess because she knows she lied. And I said, okay, you lied about your virginity. Let me get your sister. Because your sister's like 17 going on 18. She was like, no, you can't have my sister. And I said, oh, all right, I'm out of here. I only stayed for 15 days in the Gambia, though. They say there's no virgins in the Gambia. But there's more virgins in Sierra Leone. There's no virgins in Nigeria, okay? See, these are the countries that I was told, black countries that do not have any virgins. It's like Nigeria, any developed country, just forget it, okay? If most of the countries, like, really poor, then there's more virgins. When there's countries like Philippines, okay, or let me see, Lagos, Nigeria, or those popular countries that people like to go to. What other country there is, okay? Kenya, they say Kenya has a lot of virgins in it. Okay, Somalia has, because these are really poor countries, so they don't have time to be having sex and making babies. But you obviously can tell, okay? If there's turmoil there, there's not a lot of sex being had, okay? All right, so use your common sense. I usually go to countries that usually is really, really poor, and I can see it. And I showed you already in the video. This is a country, everywhere is like garbage houses everywhere. No one's really lucrative. And then you know when a woman is suffering, you cannot, she's not going to be likely to, and she's living with her family, she's not likely to slip up. Not likely. But you got to keep them out there now. Now it's like, there's really nothing you can do, though, to be safe, okay? The only thing you can do to be safe is to save up your money, get your monies together, and keep them overseas. Buy purchasing properties out there. I saw a guy do it when I was out there in Sierra Leone. It was a white guy with a black fine sister, man. And when I saw him, of course she's not attracted to him, but I was like, I was thinking about getting her and said, nah, but she already had a baby. She already had her lost her virginity and everything. And she was kind of hitting on me, and I'm like, no, not like that. And I was in their house, but I'm not like that. I'm not like that. I was too cooped up with her, with my lady in the room all the time. Okay, but I did get out, okay, and I saw some beautiful women in Sierra Leone. But of course, you just got to ask. You got to inquire. You got to have standards, guys. And you women, you need permission from your father. You cannot, I repeat, be making choices on your own. You just can't do it. That's what the pimps told me, and this is common sense. You cannot make decisions on your own choosing a mate. You can't. Because you need an elder to screen that person, to know from a man's perspective. And you need to test them too. You shouldn't even be dealing with a man who wants a monogamous relationship in the first place. You have to completely shift your whole mind. Click it. You got to shift the whole mind. Is she just going to be happy with me? No, if he wants a family, that's a real man, right? Okay? If he wants a family, you just can't have one child each year because you might not be, fertile enough. Multiple wives are better than just one. For him, to keep him, yes, he's the prize. Because you want that seed, right? You got to procreate with the right person, not some beta alpha male cuck fuck, a Chad or a Pookie or a Ray Ray, beta alpha types. Okay, that's what they are. Beta alpha. Beta means those motherfuckers are just like women, and they acting like they're alpha because they are so attractive. Well, they got a lot of money. Okay? It's that simple. Women look at those two things. They always call them 8s, 9s, and 10s. They don't talk to 7s. They don't talk to 6s. Their numbers are different from the numbers that you think. If you think you're average, you're a 7. They don't talk to no 7s. Most women do not talk to 7s. Peace.